evangelist who has reached millions through seminars, through TV appearances, and DVDs. She made her name advocating self-respect and empowerment for women. But this summer, her life took a dramatic change, challenging the very words she preaches.
I don't never want to fall and have some sex. I don't never want to do nothing wrong. But the devil is a liar. Come on here, somebody. Every day of my life, I'm struggling to kill the flesh.
In the constellation of evangelical preachers, Juanita Bynum is an undisputed star. Her message, one of commitment and no promiscuity, is heard loud and clear by millions of women worldwide.
Once you have had sex with a man, then what happens according to the realm of the spirit of that man steps in your body. You become one with the person that you have slept with.
That message, the result of a failed first marriage, followed by the search for the right companion, is straightforward.
I've had enough! Now shout it,
Bynum was a sensation. The sermon, No More Sheets, sold more than 1 million copies, and in 2002, she found love with another preacher, Thomas Weeks III. So imagine the shock of those millions of women when this year the seemingly made-for-each-other couple separated, and Juanita Bynum, the most empowered of women, came forward saying that she had been abused by her husband, that he had attacked her in the parking lot of an Atlanta hotel where they were meeting in an attempt to reconcile. Weeks denied ever attempting to hurt his wife, saying,
I want to be clear in saying I do not condone in any way, shape, or form violence of any kind towards women. My role has always been to operate as a protector and not as an aggressor. I have walked away from many situations between the two of us, just like I walked away that night.
But Bynum showed Atlanta police her bruises, alleging that her husband choked her, kicked her, and stomped her, and continued to do so until a bellman pulled him away. So what is the message to Juanita Bynum's devoted followers?
It's kind of like a black eye, Christianity. We're supposed to be able to get along with each other and live right and do all those kind of things. It's kind of tough. So I would encourage that congregation of people to be prayerful.
No more sheep! No more!
And Juanita Bynum joins us this morning. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. Very good.
How's your heart?
My heart is healing. I think it's on schedule. I don't deny any of my emotions. I feel what I feel, and I respond to those feelings according to the time and the moment that I'm in. And I think it's good. I'm not pretentious about what I feel, and I'm very conscious to keep my heart on schedule to heal properly.
I couldn't help but notice that when we were showing the piece and we would see portions of your sermon, you would look away. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't look at yourself and what you were preaching. Is there a reason why you couldn't even watch?
I don't think it's not me not wanting to look at myself. I'm not one of those preachers that go home and buy your own tapes and look at it and gloat in what you say. The message is very real. It's very powerful. And I think looking back at 1998, when that message was preached, my mind just started going through the course of the journey that I've taken and leading me up to this place right here, and it just became overwhelming for a second to see where I've come from and to see where I'm sitting now.
You had an abusive first marriage that you have talked about, and that's what the sermon came from, No More Sheets. And you quietly separated from your husband before this, your second husband, before the alleged abuse. Why?
Well, my first marriage was something that he repented for what he did, and I made a vow that I would not talk about that situation because it was like over 20 years ago. I think right now my focus lately has been on why have I, and being honest, allow this kind of behavior for a second time. And so I'm really focusing on my own healing rather than looking at the faults of the individuals, because I can't do anything about their actions. I can only do something about, my own.
People have talked about your sermons and knowing what you have endured and what you have gone through recently. And, for example, when you say, I don't care what kind of husband you got, that's your covenant vow, and you have a responsibility to make him feel that he's a wonder when no, he ain't.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any regrets in preaching a message like that, given the alleged abuse that you've suffered?
No, because
and other women may suffer.
I think people can take what you say out of context. I think that in me making a statement like that, I think it is the covenant responsibility of every wife to encourage and to make sure that their husbands feel honored and respected. And I did that. Like I said to many others, when you look at abuse, a lot of things that you go through because of the kind of culture that you've been raised in and around, you don't look at it as being the beginning stages of abuse. We don't call it abuse until it's a parking lot situation, but it's abuse when you're yelled at and screamed at, and so that abuse starts in earlier stages that we classify as just marital issues. And so during the time that statement was made, it was just, to me, marital issues. It didn't make my husband a monster, and he isn't one now.
So what is your message now to women?
I think that when you look at spirituality and Christianity, and I've been criticized for saying that I forgive my husband, but I believe that spirituality needs to be used in a proper manner to the degree that we forgive and we pray, but by the same token, you have to take the responsibility to remove yourself out of harm's way while you're praying and while you're yet holding on to your faith.
And what do you say to, because you know you have your critics, those people in the spotlight like that who say that this is nothing more than you seeking to get recognition and publicity and such. How do you respond to that? Well,
I think that's really ludicrous because the popularity that God had favored me with was already there. I didn't need not another person to really know who I am. Mm-hmm. And I got up the other morning with a thought, and the thought was, truth is a spirit, and those that are born of it knows its voice.
Juanita Bynum, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
You coming forward.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.